160 years ago today, Jacques Mieses was born, and this is the most incredible game where he beat Chigorin in 13 moves. My favourite thing about Mieses was the fact that he was at the 1895 tournament in Hastings, a great tournament, one of the most famous tournaments of all time. It had all the world's best, and people still talk about this tournament today. 50 years later, in 1945, he was at Hastings again. He was the last surviving player from the Great Tournament of 1895, and at the time of competing in 1945, he was 80 years old. To be competing at 80 years old is just incredible. So, in his famous game from 1906 against Chigorin, Mieses opened with a Vienna game, Queen g4, attacking g7. Now, Chigorin played Queen f6 because this protects g7 and also threatens f2. Mieses ignored it. He went knight d5, attacking the queen and threatening to fork the king and rook. Now, Chigorin took on f2, but after king d1, white is safe. The queen can't check here because of this bishop. So now black has to move their king because of this threat. So Chigorin went king f8. Now, Mieses developed his knight and attacked the queen. Queen went to d4. Here, the best move was actually h5. However, Chigorin didn't see it. So he went queen d4. And now Mieses played d3. The bishop can come out if it wants to now. Chigorin played d6, attacking the queen. The queen moved. Now here, white's actually threatening c3, which would trap the queen, because queen can't come here because the bishop, and can't come here because the knight and queen. So Chigorin got rid of this knight to stop the queen trap threat. And now black went knight a5, with the idea of getting rid of one of white's attackers, because this bishop is quite dangerous, looking at f7. White played a great move, rook f1, putting the rook on the same file as the king, always a good idea. Now, black took the bishop, one less attacker for white. However, Mieses just ignored it. He went queen d7 straight away, threatening mate on f7. Now, to stop the mate, Chigorin played f6, but this is a big mistake, and Chigorin actually resigned after white's next move. There's lots of good moves here, but Mieses played the amazing knight takes f6, and here Chigorin resigned. This is move 13. Because if the pawn took the knight, after rook takes, knight takes, bishop h6 check, there is a mate on g7. And it's the same idea. If the pawn took back, or the knight took back, then rook takes is the same idea, just the same mate. So yeah, amazing game by Mieses, who would have been 160 today. So happy birthday, Mieses.